Alrighty, good morning. I'm starting a little early today, it's just because I'm up and I don't want to drag it out too long. So we may be running a little short. Just depends on how I feel as we progress. Usually if I'm feeling lousy once we start, I end up feeling better once we get into it because I kind of get distracted of things, but just fair warning that it may be a short stream today. There was some emergency maintenance apparently about 4 o'clock this morning, which was about 3-4 hours ago now. It didn't say exactly what it was that they did or what they had to bring it down for, what the emergency was. I didn't see any tweets or anything about people complaining about stuff, but apparently it was severe enough that they needed to bring down the realms for about an hour and a half or so this morning. So thankfully that's already done and over. And I haven't experienced any issues. So like I said, whatever it was, it seems that they fixed it. So that's a good thing. As such, though, I presume that we're going to have regular maintenance tomorrow, as usual. I think the emergency stuff is kind of just out of the blue kind of things, not your typical stuff. So I imagine they'll be doing regular maintenance tomorrow as well. So just be on the lookout for that. Good morning, Faye and Bones. Glad you could join us. And thank you for the hosting, Gamer. I appreciate it. For those that have followed along with us, you know that I've been sick off and on. It seems like forever. I think it's more like the last few months. The season has just been really bad for me. But kind of took a turn for the worse over the weekend. Apparently, I now have some fluid buildup on my ear, inner ear or something, and it's causing me to have dizzy spells. It's worse when I go to lay down, like for bedtime and everything, but I still have problems, like if I turn too fast or if I look down or just, I don't know, just usual stuff. And it hits me at times when I wouldn't expect it. Like right now, I'm kind of experiencing a little bit, but typically when I'm just sitting, it's not too terrible. That's why I'm going to go ahead and try and stream today. So if suddenly I disappear, that might be why, because it's just a very uncomfortable thing. It's not anything life-threatening. It's just very uncomfortable and annoying, if nothing else. So I went to the doctor yesterday. That's why I wasn't here on the stream yesterday. It's like I need to start like getting a discount because we go to her just about every week now. But she's given me some special meds to supposedly help clear this up. I'm only allowed to take it for about a week. It's a pretty strong medicine apparently and has some really major side effects if you take it for too long. So I'm on a strict schedule of how many pills and the dosage and everything, and it brings it down over a period of weeks. So today will be my second day on it, and hopefully by the end of the week's dosages, this will have passed. I've had this in the past once, I think, maybe twice. And the first time it happened, they ended up putting me through those whole vertigo tests, and oh my gosh, if ever they suggest sending you through a regimen of vertigo tests, do not do it. I actually went to the hospital, the clinic where you take the tests, and I ended up coming out feeling worse than I went in. It was horrible. If you're any type of person that's prone to motion sickness and stuff, that is the worst thing to go through, because they like shoot water in your ear and purposely make you dizzy and stuff, and it was just awful. But it's very reminiscent of that. So anyway, today we're just going to kind of go through some of the things I've been working on off stream, trying to kind of catch you up on things I've been working to build. You can see I've moved the Nutcracker guy over here as well. So if you want to see him up close, you can come visit my mains plot, Carrot Greenleaf, for that. Um, but we'll go over him a little more in detail in a little bit. But for those of you that follow my Twitter feed, you'll know that I have changed up my haunted house on this plot. I had decorated it for Shades Eve, a little party place. It had like a spider web dance floor and some dancing skeletons and a whole bunch of gross food and stuff. Yeah, it's really awful, Bones. I do not, I sympathize with her because I know I've been through it and it's just a horror. Um, I knew they were gonna, be making me purposely dizzy and stuff, but you're just not prepared for it no matter what you think. So anyway, I decided to go ahead and jazz this place up for Winterfest, just to brighten things up. So I've taken my cue as far as how I've divvied up the room, or I'm planning to divvy it up, off of one of Maddie's plots. I liked the way that they split up the area. So it's still a major work in progress. I'm hoping to change out things later on that I am not happy with. But you can see I've completed the wallpapering. Basically, it's just uh, a gear trophy for each wall, and then multiple exile wall edges to make the red stripes to give it that candy cane look. Um, I've put in a staircase, started working on some of the furniture, and figuring out what I'm going to use for each piece. The staircase is mostly, and the trim around the room is the fireworks crate, the bottom of it. It's a little messy here, but because the box shape of itself is a little, it's like wider at the top than it is at the bottom. It was a little awkward to get certain things lined up like I wanted. But I wanted something that was kind of reminiscent of a chocolate. So I was looking for browns and things, and so that was what I went with. But you can see I've kind of gone with a candy theme. I've been making little paintings like the lollipop here. It's just layered up Orin windows on one of the bottle rocket sticks for the lollipop bit. We got the cupcake here. It's lot hand towels for the cupcake um, holder paper. Um, what it is to get the multicolors there, it's the lop towel, just the edges is sunk in, so it's got that, what do you call it, the accordion look. Hey Poi, good morning. Glad you could join. And thank you for the host, Bones. But I needed something else behind it because otherwise the black of the frame would show through. So I just, the same thing again I use for the cupcake itself, which is the rocket here, the little firecracker thing. I turned it on its end and used that for the background of the base of the cupcake to give it a little bit of color, and that kind of helped fill it up so that it didn't look gappy. Um, the little frosting up at the top is of course a snow clump, and then the fireworks dynamite for the little cherry on top. I even purposely left the fuse showing so it looks like the stem of a cherry. So it's kind of a fancy cupcake. For the tree, I at first had actually had this outside in the mall area, and then I decided to bring it in here. Basically, all it is a bunch of these green rockets. I tell you, if you haven't unlocked those fireworks decor, if you get a chance when the next Starfall event comes, make sure you do it. You really only have to unlock it on one character. It's not like you have to do it on all, because if you unlock it with one character, that character can go to your alts and purchase what you need, but definitely unlock it with one at least. But it's just multiples of that particular rocket to make it look like a little cricket tree. And I've haven't yet actually decorated, and these are just kind of placed for later. I will probably rearrange these and size them different and stuff. But that's for later. The ice cream cone, basically, again, it's one of those rockets. It's the same one. It's yellow one, I think, is what it is. Using it for the cone, and then it's several snow clumps, one big one for the top of this for the vanilla ice cream, and then three little ones to give it look like it's, kind of overflowing a little bit, like a nice big scoop. For the pink scoop, for the strawberry ice cream, it's basically string lights, the Granox string lights. I've just got the purple one, the pinkish one showing. And then for the chocolate up top is the upside down or to the side barnacle weed. I've often said that that particular piece always reminded me of a chunk of chocolate, so I use it in a lot of my candy creations if I'm doing that kind of thing. And yes, that is a good point. Now that you're neighbors with your Exile Dominion, you only need it open on one side as well. That's true. I actually had unlocked it with my Dominion originally because, of course, we didn't have access to the cross-faction access before. So, but yeah, just one character on your account. If as long as it has it unlocked, then that one can buy the pieces for any of your alts, and it can do it for other people too. If you know someone at this moment that hasn't unlocked them and is needing some firework decor, they can just have you come over. They roommate you, you purchase it, and it ends up in their crate. So very helpful in that respect. For the furniture, I tried making, I don't know if you can recognize what these are supposed to be, but if they're supposed to be ice cream sandwiches, they look more like the ones that you would see in the States. It's a really like soft, cakey chocolate. Uh, it almost looks like graham crackers, but it's like a soft, dark chocolate. And then inside it is sandwiched a layer of ice cream. And of course, it has these little pinholes all through the top of the cookie part, and the ice cream is visible through it. These aren't exactly like that. They're like little bumps instead, rather than inset into the chocolate cookie part. But the idea hopefully is the same, and that folks will recognize what it's supposed to be. If not, oh well, I tried. But it's ice cream sandwiches being used as parts of the couch and the coffee table. I've just layered up a couple of them. To create these, it's basically just graded floor panels, two of them end to end. I left it kind of so you don't see the yellow stripe, you just see the kind of the off-white. And then for the pinholes of the ice cream showing through, those are fence post pickets. I originally had tried to use the red rocket, the bottom of it that looks white. But at the size that I'm using them, that particular piece disappeared really early. You could be just like standing right here and you wouldn't see them. So I switched it out to the fence posts because those show up at a longer distance. You can see they kind of disappear here, but it shows up pretty good right about here, which is about comfortable. For the seating, I just decided to go with blocks of chocolate, so I just used the same thing that I used for the ice cream cone, which is the barnacle weed. I could maybe split these a little bit and put some kind of a filling and make them look like, what are those things? Macaroons? Is that what they're called? Something like that. As something I may do later. It really depends because, again, this is my main plot, so she's pitched for placed decor owned in her crate. I cleared out a bunch of stuff, even things that I can craft and things. to try and make room for everything, I did a lot of use the crate cleaner, removing all of the stuff that I can buy off of the housing vendor, and I freed up some space, but there's still a lot that I need to put in here, so I don't want to get too detailed with everything. And later, if I discover I've got plenty of space still, I'll come back and probably redo these a little bit to add some kind of a filling, whether it be a white cream or something else. I'm not sure yet. The floor, if you're wondering about the floor, I was aiming for a green, and we don't have too many green items that are flat. I mean, there's the green pillow, but it's kind of lumpy. You'd have to really size it huge and get just the right bit, and it probably would still be a little bit, you know, lumpy, even in an oversized kind of fashion. Um, the green that's under the tree, those are leafy stalks. This is the second version. It's two of them to make it look a little ruffled around the edges. Again, I may add some extra ruffles if I decide I've got the space for it, but for the moment it's just two. But you can see how bright it is. So when I tried to use that for the floor, it was painful to look at. It was so bright. And then I tried the other leafy stalk that has the darker color green, and it worked out that it looked like I was standing in space. It was so dark. Um, so if you're looking for something, if you've got that space diorama thing, and you're looking for, maybe you can't get a hold of one and you're looking for a way to make it. If you have the haunted house, I don't know if it works in all the other enclosures, but in the haunted house one, it actually looks like you're walking in a black. It's like you're not walking in anything. It's so dark. Um, but I ended up going with, this is actually one of the candy pumpkins, the little buckets. I think it's just the green one. It's upside down, and that's why it has this weird little pattern. The bottom of it is actually not very perfectly round, and it's got a weird, almost like a Tetris pattern on it. And this is why it looks like that. It's just got some little blips on it, and that's what you're seeing. So this is the bottom of one of the candy pumpkin bits. I just wanted to have some kind of green carpeting. Again, I'm going for bright, almost primary colors for most everything to make it really candified. So that's what it is. Let me see if I can show you what I was talking about, Bones. Let's see, I think it's this one. And I'll show you how dark it's just crazy how dark it is. And it might be because I sized it up so much, because you can see it's a little light on the edges, but in this part here it's super, super dark. I'm not sure. I think I'm bringing it the wrong direction. Hold on. But just so you can see. See how dark that is? It's like creepy dark. You could add some, make a little space scene as you're carpeting there, I guess. It's freaky dark. It just looks spacey. So you could probably use it for a ceiling if you're trying to go for some kind of a sky on the interior, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just one really weird thing. But I just happened to discover that as I was looking for some greens. Anyway, for the lollipop kind of flower arrangement here that I put together, the pedestal is basically the sticks of the rockets. Um, these here, the purple rocket is the one I chose because the red rocket has a fuse that kind of hangs pretty long on the end, so you might not want to use that one. I use that for the sticks of the lollipops and for the base. It's just a really giant, oversized one stuck into the ground there. And then for the lollipops themselves, I just basically used Orin windows. They're colorful and round and flat, so they make great lollipops. I did the same with here, except I just layered it. I used the pinks and oranges in combination with each other. Mostly I was looking for the swirls, and then a little bit of the pink is showing, so it's like a little swirled up kind of thing. Um, for the little candy pillow, that's basically just some bow tie, fancy bow ties. I think it's 4 of them all together. It's a really easy piece to make. It's super thick. You can see it's pretty uh, thick in there. So it might not work for everything you want to use it for, but it makes a nice little, almost candy cane-ish type of pillow. Now you'll notice that the lighting in here does behave a little strangely because, again, you're not allowed to control the lighting for the remodeling of the interior of the haunted house fab kit. So it'll keep that misty look, and it's actually really dark. The only reason it's kind of bright as you move through it is because I've put in a series of uh, orange sconces. They're actually hidden up in the ceiling. There's 4 of them all together, I think. That's why in some places it looks super bright, depending on how close to the wall you are, and the further away you are, it's a little hazy looking. That would be why. It's to do with how the fab kit itself is set up. Um, just like I'm sure the music is probably weird, doesn't quite match this candy scene, but you know, you're not able to modify it. So then some of you may recall the candy bar that I made way back when. I decided to revive it, and it's become my refrigerator. I basically just, because what I'm using for the candy bar itself, which is the same thing I'm using for the lollipops, it's that same rocket. Um, and since it's, you know, it actually is a big old rocket sticking into the wall there, I just brought it out a little bit and I'm using it as a candy bar refrigerator. I've added some divider here to separate the freezer from the fridge part, and I've added the rolled sleeping bags, kind of looks like little swirly candy handles. I've done the same for this here. Basically, this is the same as the candy bar over here. I've just left off the wrapper and made a cabinet out of it. Again, I've divided it a little bit and then added the 3 handles. And I'm planning to put, I don't know, some candy related knickknacks up top there. So the plan is I'm going to put kitchen and stuff up here. Now in Maddie's, that's kind of the arrangement Maddie has, is the kitchen's here, living room here, and then the bedroom and stuff is up here. But I'm probably not going to go that deep into the housing bit. I may just add some faux doors as if they lead to the bedroom and stuff, and make this a different kind of space. Um, I'm not happy with the floor. I'm kind of waiting to see if any of that gingerbread stuff gets unlocked that I might can use. But that's what we have so far. Still a long ways to go. I might not even finish it before the holiday is done, but working on it. If you're curious about the frames here, these little black spheres, these are actually circular windows. They're not that easy to come by. Usually when they pop up on the AH, they're on the expensive side, but over the years, I've managed to grab some cheap ones here and there and accumulated a few. and happened to have them already in her crate, so I went ahead and used those for the frames. I wanted something that offset really nice against the candy cane wallpaper, so it just seemed to work really good. So that is that. So let's move on to the warehouse to catch up on the Advent stuff that we have been working on. See, I guess I should probably first show you the finished sleigh that I had been working on. I tweeted out a couple of pictures of some of my progress, or maybe it was just one, I can't remember now. But I did finish that. It is a whopping 770 something pieces, I think. So it is in no way practical. And it's really chunky. But, you know, if you had a guild, especially a small guild or a group of friends that you want to take a little holiday picture with, this would be great for a little screenshot, group photo kind of thing. Basically, for all of the ornamentation on the sides, it's all of those fireworks for the colorings. It's the yellow fireworks for all of the petals of the flowers, and for the little dots in the middle of these. For the red and orange, it's basically the Cassian candle. Whoops, you can't see the Cassian candle firework. Some of them are doubled up to give it a little bit more of a ruffled edge. Others are left just singles. For all of the vine work and the leaves, those are green pillows just turned a certain way to make it look like little leaves. I did that for my green leaf bakery as kind of its logo, and it works really good for leaves. So if you're doing some kind of a flower painting, the pillows work awesome for that. Welcome back, Bones. What you got for breakfast? Making me hungry thinking about it. So once I completed the one side, then it was a matter of getting that pattern repeated on the other side. But it's not a matter of linking it all together, turning it, and pushing it in, because if you turn it, then this flower here ends up on this side over here, and it doesn't match right. So basically, I had to take certain sections. Like I was able to link all of these flowers together and the leaves, and flip it and push it straight through, and it was in the right spot. But all of these other things I had to kind of do piece by piece. But you can see that I managed to do it. It's all there. Um, just a little bit of mislining here and there. I don't know why. It might have been the way I was pushing it over. Maybe I was doing it via world instead of object, or vice versa. And so there was a few things I had to realign, but it went pretty good. But again, like I said, this is not a very practical thing. This isn't something that you would have on every plot you own, because like I said, it's close to 800 pieces. So it's a giant in so many ways. But for a once a year kind of thing, it was fun to build. For the little ski parts, for the treads or whatever you want to call them, those are just orange shelves. 2 on each end. And then I did thicken up the base a little bit to hide some of the bits that were sticking out. Because once I raised up the main carriage of the sleigh, all of the stool seats, the legs of those, they're pretty long, so they were sticking through the bottom. It looked a little weird, so I boxed it in. So I just layered up the floor with some extra pieces. So that is the sleigh finished, guys. It's usable. You can actually hop up in it and use the seats, which is uncommon for some of the things I build, because usually I put them together in such a way that the seats stop working, but this one works okay. It's tough to get a nice picture because, again, as you zoom out, certain pieces start disappearing. But you know, if you turn your deal off and just pick it just right, you should be able to get quite a few people into the seating and be able to enjoy that. Bun with some cheese. Well, I'll take that. Bun with some cheese. Okay, so I think this next one was the Nutcracker that I worked on. Um, I forget how many pieces he is. Let me see if I have it saved. I think it was 80 something. Let me look here. Okay, 196, a little more than 80 something. It's like double. Um, yeah, it's again, the details will bite you in the bottom every time. Like I did have his eyes, I didn't have the eyebrows or the line across the top of the eyes, and I ended up adding those later. So, you know, details like that, you start adding them and you keep adding them, and it just adds up really fast. Oh my gosh, where do I start on him? Uh, for his face and his nose, those are orandomes. Um, like his nose, you basically just that size. You could have, I could have made probably make it a little bigger so it doesn't disappear so quickly, um, and just hid part of it inside his head, but I didn't bother with it. Let's just start from the top. His hat. His hat are tires. It's multiples to give it the little rounded cap. His little emblem is the back of a Hugel portrait. And then all of his brass bits, the rim of the hat, the shoulder pads, the bit on his wrists, and the collar around the top of his shirt or jacket. Those are Red Moon vents. Um, his eyebrows and mustache and the belt around his jacket and the boots, those are all tires. For the line across the top of his eye, which is I guess supposed to be like his eyelid or whatever, those are the edges of, or the the little lip thing of the Cassian wall. Yeah, that's the trouble I usually have, Poi. I think it's just because most of the cushions are visible and sticking out. Now, I have seen some people manage to cover them up and still be able to use them. I don't know how they do that, but I never get it to work. So typically, I just usually don't even use them. I put other things, but red is a holiday color, so I went ahead and used them in this instance. But yeah, typically I can't get the seating to work if I cover it up in any way, or if I shrink it down too small. I think at a certain size it also kind of acts a little weird. Or if I, like, say I have a stool and I want to sink it all the way down into the floor except just the top, sometimes that'll make it quit working as well. I don't know why, but maybe it's because your feet would hang into the floor if you sat or something. That might be part of it. Yeah, that's how it usually goes for me. I don't know why it does that. It's like the Wild Ball Park where I used some of the seating and the benches. Uh, those are actually visible, and half of them don't work. It's weird. Even using the thing that Katya's add-on gives us to fix them, it never really worked for all of them. That's why I tend to avoid interactables because they're so squirrely. But you know, if you can get them to work, awesome. It's fantastic. Okay, so we did the hat. His hair and his beard are icicles. It's just, let me grab a single here. It's just this same piece over and over and over and over and over again. Basically, what I did is I linked them to the, I think it was the, yeah, the Red Moon vent, and I just kept twirling that around and adding them, kind of like we did with the dome, using it to get that circle of greenery for the wreath. I did that same thing with his hair. I just kept twirling around. Rather than having to place each piece at just the perfect angle, I wanted it all the same. So I just started with one, and then I kept twirling this piece of his hat and linking it to that part, and got it all set up so it all moves in one. Now, if you want his hair to be all weird, then there you go. His eyes are rocket bottoms, the red rocket. And there's actually several of them in there to kind of patch up where I didn't want things showing. So it looks a little messy if you look really close. But, you know, from a distance, it doesn't look too bad, I think. The pupils are, of course, my fave, the vent tanks. And then the blue iris is the blue rocket firework. His teeth is chew a pillow for the red part around his mouth. I guess it's supposed to be like his gums or his lips or something, I don't know. And then several others for the lines. So I just turned it just so that the edge is showing. The divider is, again, those Cassian walls, but I put several in to get that gap pretty wide. Because I don't know if you know how a nutcracker is supposed to work, but there's like a little, there's supposed to be a little latch on his back where you push it and it opens the mouth, and you put the nut in, and then you crunch it up and it cracks it open for you. And then the teeth are trophy gears. It's just one big one, and I've used everything else to kind of divvy it up into 4 teeth, top and bottom, excuse me. For his coat, the jacket part, including the sleeves, those are all the red dynamite firework. Basically what I did was I kind of did the same thing where I took a cylinder or one of these red moon vents or something as the parent. I angled one at the angle that I thought it would be because I wanted the chest part to be broader than his waist. So I angled it slightly, and then I just linked it to that, twirled it, and just added a new one and kept going all the way around until his shirt was full. So it's multiple pieces there. For his hands, those are just domes again to match the color of his face. The little decoration here, or I don't know if it's like his jacket buttons or something, but those are gear trophy bottoms again. And then another firework stuck in to make that round. Because I couldn't get it to set in, push it in far enough to get some of the red to show through. It just kept messing up the shape. I wanted like the diamonds. If you look for Nutcracker dolls or whatever on Google, you'll probably come across the exact Nutcracker I was using as reference, because he's pretty much, I wouldn't say identical, but he's recognizable. The main thing that I varied on straight up was the emblem on his hat. I think in the one that I was looking at, it's more of a like a weird swirly thing, like really fine line golden swirly, and I didn't want to go through trying to make that on this round surface, so I just slapped a Hoogle portrait on there and made it look like a little emblem. For his sword, I'd actually wanted to use one of the pirate cutlasses, but I don't have a spare one. I have a couple on Carrot's plot, but of course I'm not building this on Carrot's, or I wasn't originally. So I had to come up with an alternative, and it's always good to do that even if you have an item that maybe works well. If it's a hard to get item, especially for me when I'm trying to show people how to put these together, I want to use things that are readily available. So I just went with a dinner knife. Excuse me. and use the Red Moon vents as the, I don't know what you call it, the hilt of that to kind of cover up the handle, the wooden handle. So that's his little saber thing. I think it's supposed to be hooked on his belt. So I think in the picture I was looking at, it's actually a little lower than that, but I just stuck it to his belt. It made more sense to me that way. Um, Now the split for his jacket here is supposed to be, I think there's like he's wearing a white shirt beneath it, and the jacket's actually supposed to be, it's supposed to be a full-on triangle cutout. Um, but I couldn't get the shape right, so I just made it kind of a triangle. I think it still works all right, but this is made out of lots and lots of the trophy gears. I just started at the top and just worked my way down and then trimmed it with a little line of them at the bottom. For his pants, it's just the blue rockets. I think it's two of them stuck together because one alone, at the size I needed it, it wasn't long enough. So I needed to extend it a bit to get the proportions right for his body. So I think that's all of Mr. Nutcracker here. Be warned, he looks better from a distance at this size. Obviously, he's pretty huge, but he will size down, but you have to be kind of close to see a lot of the details because they do disappear. So when I took that screenshot of him up on the tree, I think I reduced it down to about half his size and stuck him up on the wall, which I'll be moving him later over to the tree again. But just be aware, again, the rendering issues for small items, most of the time they disappear pretty quick. So just be mindful of that. And then the latest one that we did, I actually did this yesterday, is the rocking horse. Now I did one of these last year. It wasn't for the Advent, it was just a decoration for the toy shop that I made with all the little Protostar guys assembling toys. And they had a showcase room, and then one of the items there was the rocking horse. That one was made out of, I think it was toast, unburnt toast, and I think it was the tiki bar. It's got a nice curve, and I think I used that as the bottom for the rocking part. And then tufts of wheatgrass for his mane and the tail and everything. I forget what all I used, but it was a really goofy looking horse. This one obviously isn't perfect, but with checking out Bucky's stallions for his chariot, I thought using the snow decor worked really great for a little white pony. So I put this one together yesterday really quickly to try and stick to my routine of doing an Advent every day. So uh, he is, aside from the straight part of his legs here, which are the ice rock blocks, everything else is the ice rock arch. It's just all arches from there on. Everything here is just arches sandwiched together in different ways to get the shape that I wanted. The only thing I'm probably not happy with is this part here. This looks a little odd, but I haven't figured out how I can fix it. So he's gonna be left with that funky little leg back there. But anyway, I did find a new use for the taco. I'd been talking when we were doing the taco for the ribbon on the wreath. Aurora suggested it, and I was like, you know, that's a smart thing. I haven't found any uses for it beyond that. And here I found another use. It makes a great saddle. There are two of them, and there are some pieces that stick out, some of the lettuce or bits of veggie or something that's on the side, but all in all, I thought it was a great shape for it. It's a nice color and stands out nice, and it was just a quick thing. It was better than trying to come up with, maybe using lots of pieces to make the saddle, that kind of deal. For all of the straps, the little harness bit, those are red dynamite fireworks. In some places it's just a couple, and in others it's 3 or 4 to get the little strip across the face, that kind of thing. The eyes are vent tanks, and then the hoofs and the tail and the mane are all graded floor panels. What I did was I started with a hoof. I made a little box. You can see this one's even hollow. I really need to fix that at some point, but I haven't gotten to it. All I did was put 4 of the graded floor panels together to make a little hollow box, and then I used that as the hoof, and I thought, I'll go ahead and use that for the rest. So it's lots of boxes all the way around. I started with just a trimmed mane, but it reminded me too much of how Bucky had did his, and make it all nice and trim, so I added some extra ones, turned them to the side to give a little bit of an angle, and that way his mane is a little bit wilder looking. And then of course I did the boxes for the tail. It's just lots of overlapping, just turning it this way and that. The main problem I had was the end, to make it kind of like a little point. And again, what I did was, it's still the graded floor panels, but I turned them and had to shrink them a little bit so they weren't sticking out funny, and just box that in a little bit as well. Yeah, it did. You and your puns, I swear. And then of course the rocking part is metal planks. They're not exactly a smooth curve. I'm sure someone could probably figure out something a lot better. I tried using the hanging cables. That was too much of a curve. He would be like way up here if I used those. I thought about using just the fireworks, the rockets again, making a red one, which I probably could, but it would probably be way more pieces. This is just 6 planks. I figure with the fireworks, so that it doesn't get too huge, would probably have to be at least probably twice that. So again, sometimes I'm thinking about decor count, and other times I'm just laying it all together willy-nilly, and don't really pay too much attention to it. Again, I'm not sure if I checked to see how many pieces this thing was. Yeah, I don't think I even... This ended up being 138 pieces. So again, it's still pretty expensive, and you can see I've made it kind of like a really thin wooden horse. You could double it up and then put some kind of a bench and like make it like a 2-person rocking horse kind of thing if you want. Yeah, so that's the rocking horse. I think I covered everything on there. It's not too many pieces, different types of pieces. So that's kind of good, but there are a lot of components altogether. 138, wow. Okay, so for today, I decided we would try and make a Jack-in-the-Box. You can see I've already started doodling with some ideas on how to make the Joker hat. So I've got, ignore the white part, it's just the red that I'm looking for. If you have access to the mythical creature hats, which sometimes, what is that? Is that just a glass sitting there? I swear, working in my warehouse, you never know what you're going to see while you're moving around in here. Anyway, if you can get a hold of some of the mythical creature hats, those would probably work better because one, you're only having to use a single piece as to opposed to the 4 or 5 to get this little slanted cone kind of thing going. It's the right color. Um, it might be a little problematic depending on how you're using it. Like I've used it for hats on certain things, but usually there's a lot of clipping issues around the rim, so you have to contend with that. But for the purpose of what we're going to be using it for here, I think it would still work all right. But again, I only have like one spare, and you need at least, in my opinion, 3. You can go with more, but I think 3 is a good number. And so because I don't have access to that, I decided to use the red fireworks. Again, you can see how they'll be problematic in their own right because you have this big chunky white thing to try and hide, but I'm going to see if we can manage that. For the little jingle bell on top, I've used beer cans. I've just sandwiched up 3 of them together to try and make this little shiny ball thing. You could probably use other things. Maybe if you have some of those circular windows that I was showing you earlier for spare, put 2 of those together and it'll look like a little jingle bell. If you're doing a painting of a Joker hat, probably the shop awning would work well. It's got those little lantern things. I don't know if they actually glow or anything, but if you could like single out just one of those, that would work really well for a jingle bell. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Shopper awning. Yeah, this here. They look like jingle bells to me. They're like some kind of lights, little lantern things, but you know, if you could just focus in on one, maybe you might could use that for that. I'm sure there's other things, but the beer cans what popped into mind. So, oh, that's so sweet, boy. The only ones I've been able to get a hold of is those desert ones, and I still haven't figured out a use for those things. I guess I'll have to sit down and put my thinking cap for that one. So, Jack in the Box. We're going to start with Jack first, and then we'll size him down how we need, and then build the box around him. I think that would be easiest. You could start the opposite, start with the box and then build up that way, but I figure since the little Jack part would be probably more the focus of the little toy, it would be better to focus on him first. Now, Jack in the Box may not sound like a Winterfest type of thing, but you know, for the kiddies, the gifts, there's all sorts of toys, so dolls and plushies and things like that that will come to mind. So Jack in the Box I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to try. So here we go. So first off, I'm going to save this as a set. Let's say Jack in the Box. If you don't know what a Jack in the Box is, it's a really heart-startling toy. It's like you have this box and it's got a little handle and it plays music when you turn the handle. It's like do 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 do. And at some point it'll trigger the little Jack in the Box to pop out. And I hated those things because I always got scared when it'd pop out. But to reset it, you just push him back down, close the lid, and then you twirl the little music box again. It goes and then he pops out again. So that's what it is. It's like it's on a spring kind of thing. And I'll show you how we're going to avoid that part as well. Usually it looks like a little clown thing or a little like court jester character, but for like if you want to really go full on Winterfest, you could have like a little elf guy popping out or a little snowman or a polar bear or whatever. I think we're going to do like a little snowman with a little jester hat on top. So let's get to that here shortly. So I'm going to make a copy of this. So I'm going to make a new set. item, and then we're going to add this just so we have it. Let me just make sure that is saved by reloading the UI. I think everybody has a few of those. I've got like 3. I've learned one, but I got like 2 in the bank because I'm not sure I'm even going to find a use for the one. In fact, I can't even remember who I put that on. I'm going to have to find it again. Anyway, so I said we were going to make a snowman, right? So the best thing for that, if you have the snowballs, use them. If you want to go with the snow lop, use that. The only thing about the lop is the bottoms of it is kind of dirty looking. I don't know if I have one. No. But it's like, it's not full white. The balls that's made for the lop one. It's got a little bit of like grayish black on the bottom, so it's not very pretty. But I'm going to use the ice rock cornerstones. I'm going to make myself a snowball. So you drag out the first one, get it squared up, and size it down a little bit, not too much, because it's easier to work with bigger stuff. Let's bring this out so I can see what I'm doing. And then thankfully this actually rotates on that corner, so just rotate it around. Now notice it leaves a bit of a gap. If you don't like the gap, just push it in a little bit and it disappears for the most part. There's still a line there, but it's less noticeable. And then do that again. And again, just push it in a little bit. Whoops. And then just repeat with the last one. And again, just push in where you need. So now I have half a dome. So since I want to have 3 of these, I'm going to go ahead and place on link. This will be part of his hat, hopefully. And I'm going to make a new set for the snow bit. And be warned, if you're working with these ice rock blocks, it is bright. It is tough to see your arrows if you're building against it. So just keep that in mind. Get the square. Add a set for that, place on link, and then I'm just going to rotate. And again, you'll have to adjust slightly to accommodate. Get it nice and sandwiched in. And now you have your snowball. So find the parent. Which one is the parent? Oh, there it is. And I think the parent of this one is there, so let's just link that up. So now we have a snowball. So I'm going to link up the snowball. Oops. Wrong piece, I guess. Oh, crud. How did I do that? There we go. Gosh. Okay, clear. Add links to. Okay, that's my snowball. Now, my little snowman, I'm going to have, a lot of times your snowmen are typically 3 balls deep is like the base for his like torso part and, well, the legs and things. Then you have a middle with the torso and then the head. We're just going to do the 2 just to keep it simple. So I'm going to place solid link for a second one. And then we want to size that down. So I'm going to link the 2 up so they move together. And that's our little snowman. So now he needs his little jester hat. So the jester hat is like, let's see, I'm trying to see what the base looks like. It's kind of, some of them show it as like a skull cap, where it's just a red round. Others it's more like a rim that goes around, and then the others are puffed out over it. So let's just try and make something we can attach these little baubles to. It might be easier if I actually put those on his head first and then see how far we need to take it, but I'm going to go ahead and insert one of these in. So I'm going to try and aim for the center of his brain here. And yes, the rocket itself is a little crooked, so you may have to line it up a little bit different just to get it to sit right. So I don't know if that's going to work. Yeah, I don't think that's quite what I'm looking for. Put that there for now. Just getting the positions like I want. This one we're going to turn this way. This is going to be so bad. Trying to think what use for the hat. Maybe something green. Great. Let's try and find a green something. And use the bottom of that, maybe. Make it big. And hopefully can hide what I don't want inside the, may have to use several just to get it the way I want, but whoops. Oh crud, what did I do? Just completely worked that out, didn't I? That's what I get for blinking. Oh gosh. Yeah, I was gonna try 4, I think. Let's see about where that's sitting. And then just watching what's poking out the side here. Like more pieces than it's worth. One at the back, I guess. Ooh. Something like that. It's really goofy looking. It's not quite what I was looking for, but it'll have to do for the what? Did I like totally mess that up? Do it this way. I think the base of it is much too big for this hat. Hold on. Let's try this. Make it smaller. Yeah, that looks a little better. Let's push this in. Just do some little adjustments. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, So, oh, good morning, Cheeky. Sorry, had my chat covered up. Oh, okay. Let me just pull up my. It's good to know because I got to go through my list today and get tomorrow's group set up. Where's my thing? There we go. Did he even have her down? I don't think so. So let me write that in. Can't think of what else to stick in the bunker. Well, I'm sure we'll make suggestions as we go through. Oh, do I have that already open? Wait a minute. Apparently I already had it open. Well, let me try that again. Tasha. Yeah, that's 18 plots so far that I've got listed. Several of them are still works in progress though, so I'm not sure if they'll be done. But thanks for letting me know, Boy. Okay, so we have his jester hat done. So now we got to think of something to use for like maybe giving him a what do you call it, a scarf, or some face bits. Uh, his nose. The nose, obviously you want to be looking for something that's orange. The only thing that pops in my mind is the carrot plushie, which I don't know if I have any of those here. I don't think so. No. So I'm trying to think what else could possibly work as a carrot nose. The only thing I can think of is off the top of my head is maybe the red moon vents. They're kind of coppery. Other copper things would probably be like the Emerg explosive. That might could also work, sort of. I don't know. Can you guys think of anything that's orange that we have that, doesn't have a whole lot that needs to be hidden? I think. I can't think of anything off the top of my head besides the carrot plushie. And the carrot plushie is easy enough to get a hold of. You just need Galaris reputation. I think it's popular level. But if you have a low level alt, you may have to work on getting that up there. But orange bottles. Ah, yes, orange bottles. Yeah, that would probably work good. Let's see. Let's look at the bottle. It's very smart thinking because what I was thinking of is probably going to use a lot more pieces. Because I was thinking about doing like the tire ball, but making it out of the red moon vents. And that would just be a pain. One of the pillows, I don't think so, is it? It's red for the Chua, pink, green. Ah, it's got it's kind of orange. It's more yellow, I think is what it's called. But one of the things, downside about it is it does cost renown, and I am kind of pinched for renown right now, so I don't want to do that. Those are pink tassels. That's green tassels. But yeah, I think the bottle will work perfect. Let's give him a funky face here. Again, if you're doing this, it'll probably be where the smaller parts disappear relatively quick. So it might look a little funny from a distance. There's like a half a nose till you get up to it, and then he's got the long one. And did you use the medium ones? Oh, I kind of like the short ones. Let me see. We'll look and see how the difference looks. Let's see, bottle. Medium. I think the reason I avoided that is because of the label on it. At least this one from the sides and the top, the label's missing, but it's on the bottom there, so it's not as stand outish. I think that was why I chose the shorter ones. But that's an option. And this is a cheap man's hazard cone too, if you don't want the flashy ones. At least I've used them for hazard cones in the past when I didn't have them. Whoops. Anyway, we'll use it that way. I think we'll stick with the regular ones. Now, if you want to kind of offset it a little bit to make his nose a little crooked, you just turn it slightly. Now he has a bit of a crooked nose, or if it's up or down, or however you want to do it. So he's not got like picture perfect nose. Yeah, it was the labels that I was concerned about, but if you use this one, they're just on the bottom, and most people don't look at it from that perspective. So okay, so for the coal eyes, obviously the vent tanks would probably work really well. Just swirl it around and then get it to the size that you want. Easy peasy. Oops. Try that again. If you don't like the position of them, it's very simple. Just needs eyes a little closer to the nose, that kind of thing. And then for the mouth, just the same deal, just tilted different. Probably better to start with the middle one. Get that lined up right, and then work the others off of that. Oh, well, I look forward to it. I'm anxious to see everybody's actually. Now, you could follow this line here for his mouth to kind of make it look like that line is meant to be, like so, but it looks a little too up high. Or I could, whoops, adjust to the position of his nose, raise it up a little bit more. just link all his nose parts together. No, that just looks weird, doesn't it? And 5 is usually what I do for the mouth when it comes to this, because you got the center one, and then 3, and then you just need that extra little bit. Give it that uplift of a... But you could do it as many as you want. If you want 50 mouthpieces, that's fine. If you want them joined, you don't have to leave the gaps like this. I'm just using it as like it's little blocks of coal. It's a creepy Joker thing. Oh gosh. For the scarf, I'd say maybe you could use some of the rockets. I don't know if we could get away with. I mean, if the casing would work. I think it's just problematic because of how it's got these little stray pieces laying out, but I'm going to see if we can kind of fake it in. As like maybe some loose tassels or something. It'd actually probably be better if you find something that's round, because you're going to want to go all the way around the sky. Because remember, we're making these three-dimensional little bits, so that's tougher. But like maybe Orin windows would work all right for that. It would be kind of a brown. Again, I'm probably like the pink one. I think that's got the green wood. That would work probably pretty nicely. Rather than this weird thing. Now you're probably wondering, why don't you just use the rocket one? Well, it's mostly because that little pointed part would probably be getting in the way as well. Yeah, this is just looking like garbage. Let me try it, something different. Oops. Let's see, I'll try the green rocket part, but I have a feeling it's not going to work right. So let's start off. Oops. Maybe if I make it like it's where the joint is. See, it looks okay from the front so far. Just getting it all the way around, it's going to be the bugger. Let's see if we can do this. Put that in the far back, I guess. Whoops. I keep turning the wrong piece. There we go. Okay, so now we have to get them all linked up together. Just checking what pieces need to go where. Oops. Okay, is that everything? Not missing an eyeball. Okay, so that's our Frosty in the box. You can see his little jingle bells disappear when he gets smaller, but that's the price you pay. Okay, so now we need to build the box and the little springy part that he would be popping out with. So I figured, whoops, gosh, I keep hitting the wrong stuff. Make sure I didn't accidentally replicate it there. So you remember how the tree, I put together the tree on the other plot. I think it might work here. As well. this way. I don't know how it's really supposed to look. Like an accordion looking, you know, it's really a spring, but it's like covered with paper, uh, that kind of thing. Not the cleanest. Version. Something like that. Awful. Okay, so that's like the little spring he's bouncing on, and then he's hardly ever, oops, exactly straight, so he's kind of wobbly. Bouncing out. And then now we need the box. So let's join all these up. Probably going to have to make him even smaller, which is unfortunate because that means even more of his details are going to be gone, but oops. Guess maybe I didn't need that last one. Yeah. Okay, so now we need a box. We want something, again, kind of colorful, but I had a hard time thinking about what kind of box would be nice and colorful. Most of ours are browns, woods, things like that. Probably the best would be using the Exile walls. It's a nice bright red. You could use the Cassian ones too if you want. It's just it comes with that, I don't know, some kind of flower print on it. But I figure the Exile walls will work all right. You just have to kind of figure out, you want a tall box, an actual cube, does it matter, that kind of thing. So I'm going to square this up, and I'm going to shrink it down to about the size I think it would work. And it needs to be big enough to case this thing. So if you're building it, if you're not worried about what's sticking out the bottom, you could just get away with using a really big one of these and pushing it down to the size you need. But since I'm trying to build these in a way that you could just take the whole object and place it wherever you want, on a shelf, on the floor, hanging from the ceiling if you want, you know, I'm trying to build it differently. So starting with this small thing here, it needs to probably be about yay big. Oops, really bad with the clicking today. Needs to be about 2 wide, it looks like would be good. So I'm going to add this. And of course you need 4 sides. and it should square up nicely. You're also going to need a bottom. So probably now you'll notice that this isn't exactly the right width here, right? So you'll have to double it, and it'll be a flashy bottom, but you know, again, if you're building into something else, it's not going to be completely necessary, but we have to do it like this. There. I don't know why it twists like that. Now you could bypass this bottom layer by, instead of having it a full empty interior, which means we'll probably have to extend the spring, you could maybe do the graded floor panel. And pretend like it's the blackness of the inside of the box, and that the spring just comes up out of that somewhere. You might could do that, but you may have to adjust. You may have to use multiples of this to fill in this, you know, square. Maybe it's not the exact size of the graded floor panel, that kind of thing. But if you're lucky, you might can fit it. And put it right about here. Oops, I was way not. See, it's like pretty wide in one respect. That's not a perfect square. The vent, it's like an oblong. Just keep working it until you get a size where it's all in contained, and then just go from there. So we'll have to do it this way. So you could avoid the bottom by just putting in the back here. I mean the bottom here. Like so. What I would do is use that bottom, link that together, that we just made. Move that out. All right, Bones. Have fun with the meeting. Let's see. Let's just that too. Probably not the brightest idea, this one, but You need to make the lid look like it would fit the box. And it's not quite long enough the other way. And then push this back in. And then move our Mr. Snowman to the middle. And then let's link all of these up. And we'll link Mr. Snowman up to the box. Now that should all be one piece. More manageable size. Again, it's just unfortunate. I'll maybe try and come up with something different for his little jingle balls, because the beer cans certainly disappear much faster than anything else on him. So I'll think of something. You could probably use just some spheres like the domes, the Cassian domes. Using those, that might work. Again, they might disappear too. I'll have to hunt up something that's a little better than that. Of course, you need the handle for the Jack-in-the-Box thing, so I would probably just use a vent tank for the hole where it would go. Or the little bracket thing. You could find a way to get it accurately right in the middle, but I don't think it's too important. And then use hammers or some such, one of the mechanical arms or something for the little arm of it. So, like, excuse me. So I have this bending out like so. Join up the hammer to that. And then just replicate the hammer. And now you have the little handle for the box. You could use other pieces if you want. These are just easy, handy kind of things. Man, my head's really starting to kill me. So that's our Jack-in-the-Box. Can you guys think of anything else? I wonder if the hammerheads would work. That might work. Let's see. I'm gonna try it because it's nice and silvery. Look like a little bauble. We can get it so that I can hide the handle of the hammer. That might actually work. Let me move this one. Wait, join this up right quick. And I'm going to save this as it is. That's 80 pieces, by the way. But I'm going to try and change this out beer can did I use as the papa? Let's just easier. Yeah, I think that will work much better. Now I got a lot of beer cans. I got to figure out something to do with them. Oh, well, that's part of the building experience. Experimenting with different pieces, finding a similar result, and just going with what's best. In certain situations, the beer cans would probably be ideal, but this seems to work better for me. So I'm going to clear this, place all on link, and then we're just going to move this over. And welcome back, Bones. So we get all of the jingle bell toppers. There you go. Now he's got his little jingle bells pretty visible even at a distance. So that works out pretty good. His nose, of course, is still problematic, but at this distance, most of it shows up, so it's not too bad. So there you have it, Snowman Jack-in-the-Box, or your holiday gift toys. You know, if you're looking for something for, you know, maybe you have a mall or some kind of big building and you're looking for a centerpiece, you have a big tree and some giant gifts or whatever around it. This is a choice. Let's see if I can find something else for orange for the nose. I really think the carrot plushies would probably work best. I think they're pretty visible even at a small size. I've used them for actual carrots on like a turkey dinner kind of thing, so I'm pretty sure they work all right. But there may be some other things. Again, anything that's kind of coppery looking, like even the vent tank, in some respects would work for a nose if you can get past that little black tip on the end. Because it's kind of coppery orange. It's just, you'd have to get past that, the black bit at the end. Maybe you could get away with using it like so, and then adding one of those Merg explosives on the end. What I do. So like, Or maybe just use a bunch of Merc explosives. That might work as well, although I think they disappear too at a certain distance. Of course, carrot's a little, whoops, wider on one end. That looks a little weird. And of course, I want to hide that label. Maybe it's too wide. See, even the tip of that one disappears at a distance. So I don't know. You just have to try different things and see if you can get it to work right. I'll probably get a hold of some carrot plushies and switch them out because I think that would work better. But I think that's going to be it for today, guys. Of course, be welcome to join us tomorrow. We will be embarking on some winter tours for December. And we've got several lined up. Like I said, though, some of them are still works in progress. I don't know if they'll be ready in time. But if nothing else, we'll visit their incomplete plots. We will be visiting a few that are still around from last year because, you know, awesome is awesome. But if you have a new winter plot that you've been working on and you'd like to have it included in these winter tours for this month, please just reach out to me. Pretty reachable in many ways, so you can get a hold of me in-game, Twitter, Twitch, through the forums if you want, whatever's easiest, and let me know about the plot. It's just Javit side that we're doing this month. It's going to be the last time we just do Javit. Starting in January, we'll be branching out into NA side as well. So this is like the last little major hoo-ha of Javit being as our focus group for housing tours. But of course, the CBDC has and always will be open to both regions. So we've got winter tours tomorrow and every Wednesday for this month. And then on the 30th, we will be hosting the CBDC Showcase, which is all about mounts. You've got an example here. We're looking for winter mounts specifically. So it can be a creature mount like this, a polar bear, which is associated with winter time, with a saddle and harness and everything. Or you can go more holiday-ish, come up with a fandangled version of your own sleigh or sled. If you want to make a snowplow or a snowmobile, some kind of weird other snow vehicle, an ice dragon, a penguin that you ride, you know, however you want to do it. As long as it's winter related, we're looking for it. We're looking for your mount designs. We will be showcasing all of those at the end of the month. We already have, I think it's four folks have reached out to me to say that they've got theirs either ready or in progress. Yeah, we've got one from Mupti, Aurora's working on one, Bucky's got one done, and Arabesque is also going to be submitting one. I'm hoping we get many more because the more the merrier, but especially because this month is unique in that we are giving away some exclusive decor packs. Carbine's community team worked really hard to get it in line so that we have these special decor codes that I will be awarding to some lucky winners. Basically, if you participate in this month's CBDC challenge, your name will be entered into a random set of drawings at the end of the month that we'll be doing live during the showcase show. And it'll be your chance to win an exclusive decor pack. Each decor pack is 30 plus pieces, so it's nothing to shake your nose at. It's definitely worth it, for a freebie if nothing else. But everyone that submits an entry, excluding myself, I'm not going to be getting myself any of the decor packs, but I'm happy to pass those out to those that do win on that. If it happens that however many codes I have matches the number of participants, then everybody will be guaranteed a, uh, a code. But I'm hoping that we have a surplus of participants, so it'll just be up to random draw. So if, for example, we have 5 codes to give out and we have 10 participants, then half of those that participate will actually win a decor pack. It's just going to be the luck of the draw. You do not have to be present during the drawing to win. You just have to have an entry amount CBDC project entered so that your name will be in the list. I will guarantee that everybody will have a fair shot at the codes. But just an extra thanks to Carbine's community team for hooking me up with this special reward that I'm able to give out. It's a special occasion. It's the holidays, so I wanted to give it a little extra something. Some extra incentive for people to participate, and hopefully it will help them catch the CBDC bug and they will continue to participate. Yeah, if you know of anyone that's good at making mounts or some kind of vehicles and stuff, this is the challenge for them for sure. It does have to be winter related, but that's not too limiting, I hope. So tell them, if nothing else, if they don't want the decor pack, maybe they can share it with you. Um, but yeah, don't miss out on this once in a year, once in a lifetime kind of deal. I don't know if they'll repeat this next year, but for sure, take advantage of it while we have it available. Um, of course, we are going to be having maintenance tomorrow, so I will be keeping an eye on that as far as if it's going to interrupt tomorrow's deal. If it comes in sooner than usual, then I will just probably start up the stream sooner. It should not clash, though. I think generally speaking, it doesn't clash for that. Anyway, thank you guys for joining. I hope you got picked up some ideas for some things that you might be working on, especially with like the candy stuff and a lot of the decorations and some of the pieces that we've been using. And look forward to seeing what you guys are putting together for this holiday season. In the meantime, good luck with your projects. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the follows, the tweets, the retweets, and the hosting, of course. And most especially the company in the chat. I always appreciate you guys dropping in to talk with me. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.